Okay, so here's the triangle of fun. We just lost Shadow. She came back eventually. Anyway, this is another little spot that we could use. Brett's going back the way we came there. So we call this the triangle of fun because we used to let dogs loose here and they'd go around the triangle and chase each other and have a jolly good time. So this would be a good spot for some lining, and we are allowed to come back here in this part of the woods. Further on there's a gate, and then of course we're trespassing, but for years people have been going there, and sometimes you get stopped, sometimes you don't. Anyway, this is a nice little long stretch which we could use, and that just goes up to a gate, but that might be a good little spot too. And of course if we have a great big rainstorm, it gets a little flooded back here, believe it or not. This was my old dog Ginger's absolute favorite spot. She used to run to this spot. We'd catch up to her, and to her last day before we put her to sleep, she came down there and we let her go down there and go lie down in the water, in the mud. And that was her favorite little spot. The dogs loved it here. Anyway, so it goes on up to, not too far, but goes on up sort of straight, so that would be a good spot where we could do a little training. The occasional person will be back here, of course. Sometimes you see no one, sometimes you might see two people with dogs, usually. And occasionally you see the random sketchy person. So, but our dogs will be on long lines. So, and it's very thick back in there after the Hurricane Juan. Actually, used to be quite dark, lost a lot of the woods down to the water. So that's another little spot that's possible. And it's just at the end of my street, about 5 houses down, in between two of the houses. Eventually it's going to be a path joining up to other houses. Eventually they'll develop back there. But right now I think DND owns this part, and then past the fence is the oil company's land, and then Shearwater. It's just down from the Shearwater runway. So the Shearwater runway field is a good spot too, but a lot of the dog walkers who bring in like 12 dogs walk up there, so, and there's some coyotes. So I generally don't like to go up there, and I found that you get some more ticks. There's a lot of deer up there. Anyway, so this is a nice little spot too. And we used to go here almost every day until it was getting a little too out of control with the dogs, and then they weren't coming back, so we stopped. But maybe it's time to start coming again and have them a bit more controlled, one at a time. And so I just walk out between the houses. It's sort of a no man's land path. The fella to the left there, he made it all nice and grassy. And actually, it's kind of part of his land, but it is a path that no one owns. Well, I guess the city owns it.